welcome everybody to episode 4 of the Winter Roundtable podcast with me, Tommy Vodka, as your host. And today we have a very special episode with the biggest amount of guests we've ever had, talking about the second hottest game in winter after Fortnite. It is Overwatch and the Overwatch leadership team. Super excited about this episode, not least because it's spoopy season. Halloween is right around the corner, so we came prepared. So thanks everyone for showing up with their costumes. Without further ado, I want to introduce our lovely guests for today's episodes. And because they're right up here on the top with me, we'll start off with Strawberry. Welcome, Strawberry. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing good, doing the best I can.
Wonderful. I'm going to kick this off just to keep it Overwatch related. Who's your Overwatch main? If you had to just pick one, because I know people like to hedge their bets with their support main and their DPS main. If you had to pick one main, who would that be?
It was Mercy in Overwatch 1, but now it's looking to be Kiriko.
Okay. That's been a hot new character. I actually haven't played a lot with her yet, but I've heard good things. I saw a play of the match where she just used her ult, and people were saying, dude, it's literally just left click to win. So that sounds pretty fun. Our next guest for today, Catula. Catula, how are you?
I'm good.
Welcome. And I always preamble with this. Once you're a guest once in the podcast, you're a guest forever. I'm just going to keep asking you guys to come back time and time again. So welcome and get cozy. Catula, who is your main in Overwatch?
I'll go with the safe choice and say Pharah, just because I've been playing her since the game released. So yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Thunder Sneck, how we doing there?
Hello. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking.
Loving the Pikachu onesie, but today unfortunately is not a Pokemon episode. It is an Overwatch episode. So who is your Overwatch main?
For Overwatch 1, I'd say it was Anna, and for now it's looking to swap to Kiriko as well.
Okay, Kiriko here with 2 and out of our 3. Seems like a popular choice. Is she available in competitive yet or not yet?
Yeah, she recently became available.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is she meta, or are we still figuring that out?
She somewhat is.
Okay.
She makes Anna obsolete with the purge.
Oh my God, Malak, you can't speak until I introduce you. No, I'm kidding. Welcome, Malak, to the podcast.
Sorry about that.
I'm totally joking. Welcome. We have Malak here. Welcome. You're dressed as Karate Kid, is that right?
I basically am.
Fantastic.
Well,
What color belt are you?
I'm a brown belt.
Can you do a perfect crane kick?
Oh, wait, I don't know the English words for it.
Dude, it's from Karate Kid, the movie, he does the whoa, and then the kick. I mean, okay, that went.
Is that like the jump kick?
No, that's the
No, it's the one that goes
and you jump.
Yeah, you just stand with one leg up and then you kick. I'm kidding. I don't even know if that's an actual. It's a movie,
To do it? Or...
Yeah, I mean, if you want to.
Oh my God!
Now.
Why not? I love
it right now.
Yeah. Let's see it. Oh shit! I like that form. Perfect. Round of applause. Thank you, Malak. I'm loving.
I wasn't sure what to actually do because the crane kick. It's not an actual kick.
Yeah. It's not meta in karate.
Best, okay, Tommy.
How dare you claim that Karate Kid is not a work of nonfiction?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen Cobra Kai?
I have not actually. I've heard it's really good.
Okay. No.
Okay. It's been said. It's not a good show. Okay. Well, Malak, who's your Overwatch main besides Karate
in
Kid?
In Overwatch 1, it was Anna, which did come over to Overwatch 2, but it might switch to Orisa, which pisses a few people off.
Battle Cow? Fantastic.
You have to babysit him when he's playing Orisa.
Why? What does he do? Is he just charging ahead?
He just charges in. As a support main, you have to, I'm not healing the DPS ever. I'm just healing him.
Yes, because I'm the one out-damaging the DPS, so you don't have to.
Bold words. I know nobody asked, but my main in Overwatch is Zarya. I just love, because the more she gets punched in the face, the more she can punch other people in the face, figuratively speaking. So big fan.
She do be mad.
Yeah, she do be bussin' for real, for real. But fantastic.
God.
I had to drop that. Actually, Dad Annoying Boy, he sent me one question for this podcast.
Oh
I'll
no.
put it here because it's not good enough to be actually brought up in the questions part. I think his question was word for word, who do be the most bussin' person for real in
Oh
the
yeah.
Overwatch leadership group. So
Wow.
there you go, Dab. I actually asked your question. I don't know if you guys have an answer for that.
I would go with Frenzy. I love his accent, but unfortunately he's not here because he is terribly hungover.
Oh, the truth comes out. I was informed of something
I
else.
told him he was sick.
I was informed of something else. Frenzy, this goes out to you. You now owe me multiple episodes for being too hungover for this one, but I
Oh
forgive you,
no!
Frenzy
Please don't
Boo.
ban me, Frenzy. Please don't ban me.
I forgive you, Frenzy Boo. You know I love you anyways. But overall, awesome to have you guys here. There's a lot to talk about. Let's jump right into it. I think we can spend a lot of time today talking about Overwatch. I brought in a few other news articles and a few other questions, but we have the Overwatch leadership team, and the game's just been catching fire right now. I've heard it. I joked actually last episode that I was playing Q Simulator, and it was a little bit of a dumpster fire when it launched, but it is obviously a massive game. So you guys can take it however you want. How are you guys feeling about Overwatch 2? Now that it's out, it's been out for a couple weeks. You had the chance to play. You have the chance to play comp. You have the chance to check the meta with the one tank less. What are your overall thoughts on Overwatch 2 Electric Boogaloo? Don't jump in all at once, guys.
Very polished. The game feels a lot more polished. I know which one. It's faster. It's not like shoot the enemy simulator, but oh no, they heal up because it's a tank. But there's a lot more action, a lot more impact from supports mainly, and it's not just damage and healing simulator.
Yeah, and a lot of people disagree with this aspect, but I think the competitive in Overwatch 2 is like significantly better than the competitive in Overwatch 1. Just because it feels like my input on the team actually matters like way more, and
Oh,
like
for
even
real.
if I'm like support or something, and my DPS, like say my DPS isn't performing as they should, I could just switch to a support that does more DPS and actually have a chance of winning versus like not being able to do that. um Also, I feel like the 7 wins that you need to get to like rank up, or like the 20 losses, is a really good system because it's not like weighted on like every game is like detrimental to your rank. So yeah, I really like that aspect, and just like the game I think is a lot more polished and entertaining than Overwatch 1 was. So yeah.
Yeah, you talking about comp that really hit home. I actually talked about it also in the last episode. I played a lot of Overwatch 1 when it came out and played comp with my friends. And I was just a terrible person back then. I was toxic Tommy. I would lose my shit because if you lost a competitive game, like there's so much on the line,
Yeah.
it was just devastating. So I do like that change. I'm also just a better person now. I like to believe. So I haven't been toxic in chat, but no, that's great. I think one thing that both of you guys mentioned about mattering more and not being like damage or defense simulator. I like that they removed a lot of crowd control skills because what I hated
Yes.
before is just getting stun locked at all times, and they changed that so that less things stun you, less things trap you. You always have you feel like you have control of yourself and you can do more stuff. Thunder,
for real.
Strawberry, what are your thoughts on Overwatch 2?
I think the like less shields with the one tank is beautiful. It makes it so where there's not this like massive skill gap for the sniping characters. Like you're no longer getting into a queue and then you see someone who's in silver picking Hanzo and you're like, oh god. Like there's actually a chance of people hitting like headshots who maybe aren't used to or familiar with all of those like side angles that were so important in Overwatch 1. So it's no longer like a complete detriment and you can actually practice aiming. I've been playing a lot more Widowmaker now. because I can actually hit things. There's not a Rhine and a Sigma shield just in front of me at all times.
Fair. I still go, oh no, when someone picks Hanzo just because it's fucking Hanzo, but I get what you're saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I feel like you have not played with Aiden.
I have
He's
not.
the only Hanzo I'm willing to nano.
Fair.
Nano.
Fair. Thunder, to wrap up our initial thoughts on Overwatch, what are your thoughts?
I think it's a more polished and designed game than the first one. I really like the concept of 5v5. One last tank changes a lot, believe it or not, and there's less ceiling that dealers will be able to provide for the team. There's not as much damage that the tanks as a team can, or as a duo, can soak. And so it's a much faster pace. I think it's also easier to snowball. If you're not careful with your team, it's quite easily to just be able to be pushed back into spawn. And if you don't coordinate well enough, you really can't fight it. But I think it's something that will, as time goes by and more changes are made, I think it's something that will grow into most people.
Makes sense. It seems everyone is enjoying the change from 6 players to 5 players with 1 tank less. People who are not enjoying that are that 6th person that got dropped from those old school Overwatch 1
Yeah.
teams and just got the boot. That's really got to suck. But hopefully they can all get together and start their own teams. But I'm right there with all of you. It also seems like the 1 tank matters most. The difference is if 1 tank dies, you really feel like you're reeling and need to regroup because you don't have that support of the 2nd tank. But I've been really enjoying Overwatch 2. I also talked about this in the last episode. I think a big game changer for me. I wasn't at Winter when Overwatch 1 came out. Being in Winter now in Overwatch 2, it's been really fun. You guys been doing a tremendous job with events, and even when you're just like playing ad hoc, you guys, but also just really the community. Everyone has been super helpful. Like even if I hadn't played Overwatch since 2016 or whatever, and so I didn't know a lot of the new abilities. I didn't know a lot of the things that changed, and everyone there is just trying to be helpful, walk me through like, oh, you should do this or like you should try that character. If you really want to try this character, try and doing this or that. So it just I felt like I'm learning, and it felt like I wasn't keeping my team back. It felt like people were actually helpful. So I think that's just speaks a lot to what you guys have been doing and the community you guys have been fostering. So tremendous
That's
job there.
definitely what we're aiming for in the community.
Yeah, and I've
like,
been
be
oh,
friendly to newbies because we've got loads of people coming in to Overwatch, new people. We've got loads of old people coming back, but same as you, they might like forget or not be used to the new abilities or systems. So we're trying to be nice to all of them.
I also think a lot of the long-standing members that aren't necessarily like leadership have been really great. Like I know there's been a lot more people playing competitive in chats, and there hasn't necessarily been like a, oh, you're bronze, I'm not going to play with you kind of a thing. Like people have just found their people to play with, and people have even made accounts where they can be a lower SR so they can play with people within the Winter Clan community.
That's cool. Yeah, I didn't even know people were doing that. So that's tremendous. One other thing, spicy topic around Overwatch. It's now free to play. Some people are mad. Some people are happy. What do you guys think about what does that mean for Overwatch right now, and what does that potentially mean for Overwatch in the long term? Do you guys have any opinions about it going free to play?
So my opinion on it is most first-person shooters now, in general, have a like battle pass system at least, and I think it's like at this point it's the only way to like fully like profit from a game from like a gaming company standpoint, because they released Overwatch 1 for like I don't know like $40 or $60 originally.
I think
And
it was
then-
$60 straight up, like full
Yeah.
release.
And that $60 they had to continue to like update like content like continuously and all of that. And I think that kind of is what made them go into like a content like drought for so long, is like they're like, oh well, people paid like $60 one time and we're not making any more money off of this besides like the league skins or like anything like that. So I think the fact that there's a battle pass system now kind of motivates the like Overwatch team to actually make stuff that people enjoy. And it gives them like motivation to make new heroes, make better skins, make more maps over like a shorter period of time. And I think that's like what everyone in the Overwatch community wants really badly. So I think the like free to play battle pass system is a lot better for Overwatch than, just the like one price. So yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I think one thing to me that matters a lot too. A lot of the bulk of my gamer friends are in winter. A lot of my IRL friends, they're gamers, but they just don't play as much. And when it's free to play, I feel much better because I never want to tell them to buy a game to play with me because I don't know if I'm gonna like get
Yeah.
over it. I don't know if I'm done with it. So just saying, hey, it's free to play. Just download it, see if you like it, check it out. I like that too, and a lot of my friends have just been gravitating either previous Overwatch 1 players or just people that never tried it. They're willing to dip their toes in that because of that. And
In terms of the battle pass, like I think they getting used to it, but it needs a rework. Because in games like Apex, it's a lot more rewarding. Like there's not much in the Overwatch battle pass. Like what's in there? 2 nice skins, uh, a cat thingy behind your name. Oh, that's my favorite, honestly. And then I think that says Nomad when you finish it.
I agree.
Not really worth the money, honestly.
Yeah, I think some of the interior things need some, like I think the Genji skin, and they did fabulous with that.
That's really nice. And they
Um,
marketed it as like a huge thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I saw it in first person, like I don't like the shurikens, I don't really like the hand, and there's not much more to the skin than shurikens and a hand. So it looks
I like
nice.
it. I think it's
For
interesting.
sure, it looks nice, and the lobby screen is beautiful with it. But they overhyped it, in my opinion.
I think the fact that they introduced a customizable skin into the first battle pass was fun because that's a thing that we see a lot in like especially Fortnite and other free to play first person shooters. And I think that that's definitely them like catching up on the times. But I do think that like a lot of the middle pieces of the battle pass are leave a lot to be desired. Like they introduced a whole souvenir thing that it's kind of like cool. You can emote and show a thing. That didn't exist in Overwatch 1. They didn't like advertise it. There's no other reason to do it than to just do an emote with it. And I think that it leaves a little to be desired out of the battle pass because it's like you introduced this new thing just to be battle pass filler is what it kind of feels like.
Agreed. And I think Blizzard Overwatch obviously is one of the biggest competitive shooters out there. And if it wants, especially now that it's gone free to play, it wants to compete with a Fortnite and Apex or whatever. I started playing Fortnite when no build mode came out, and that battle pass seems very rewarding in many ways. And for example, I agree. I think the Genji skin is actually really badass. I think the customizable skins is the way to go because it's like games now you can customize like your person's outfit, their gloves, like all that kind of stuff. I think that's the way to go. Like the more stuff you can customize and make your character I love character customization shit, so I'm all about that. The more you can make your character your own, the better. But I would expect someone like Blizzard to go like balls to the wall with their first battle pass. I will give them their benefit of the doubt. It's the first battle pass. Let's give them some time to like figure it out. Maybe they're waiting to see what's the revenue structure going to look like. But I also was a little underwhelmed with the battle pass, especially compared to some of the other games. But we'll see how it goes. One thing that I thought was really funny, I hang out on Twitter just to see a lot of the news I bring in here, and I saw like this whole narrative about people missing loot boxes. To me, I thought that was kind of insane because to me, like loot boxes were the worst thing ever, right? Like they're outlawed in Belgium and other places, and now people are like, "Oh, I miss my loot boxes, man. They were the shit." Do any of you guys miss loot boxes, or am I
So-
insane here?
I miss the like sentiment of like opening a loot box that's like
Oh, yeah.
themed around like the holiday events because they had like the little present for like the Christmas event and they had the pumpkin with like the candy in it for the Halloween one.
And
That
Other
was
than
the
nice.
that,
jingle bell sound for
Yes.
Christmas.
That was
Yeah.
nice.
other than that, the loot boxes kind of sucked. But I genuinely think that most like Overwatch fans just miss the feeling of opening like especially the holiday ones because it was just so nice.
I myself really miss the loot box structure. Because, okay, you get a loot box. Oh, hey, I got a loot box. I'm going to open it. Oh, it's 3 greys and a blue thingy. And I already have all of them. So I get
That's-
like 15 coins instead of it.
I
But you get
remember.
coins.
Oh, sorry. I
Sorry,
remember
sorry.
like the last day that Overwatch was out when they were like, all right, loot boxes are going away after this day. They'll be automatically opened if you don't open them. So I sat down and opened like my last like 5 loot boxes, and every single one of them was 4 grays. And I was like,
Fantastic.
okay. I was like, maybe I won't miss this quite as
The
much.
loot box experience.
I would get like a legendary and it would be like a fucking Torbjorn skin and I have maybe 2 hours as Torb, so
Even better, you already have that skin.
yeah.
I think one of the main reasons people like or at least they're complaining about the lack of loot boxes, is they simply had to play to get them. And I think with the Battle Pass, since it now changes the types of rewards that you get for playing, I think it's a fitting substitute for the loot boxes. And I honestly don't really miss the loot boxes because, as they've also said, after a certain point, everything you get in the loot boxes will be duplicates. And yeah, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, I think.
Well,
Go ahead, Mark.
there's a sense of surprise, right? Like in the battle pass, you have a streamlined, like, I'll get this when I do this, and I honestly don't even know what level on the battle pass I am because I don't really care about it. But a battle pass, hey, I might get something. Oh, I got nothing. Maybe next time. But you get coins. My biggest issue with that is, like, how do you get legendary skins now?
It's a good question.
Do you buy coins? Because you don't get coins for playing. They're not in the battle pass. Like, how do you get a legendary skin? Not that I care. I have all of the skins I want, all of the skins I need,
Weird
and
flex,
I don't
bro.
really use them. But been playing for a while. But how do you get new skins?
That's a good question. And for
I
example,
honestly have no clue.
on the battle pass, none of the skins are for the characters I really like playing. So it's
Yeah.
like, but then I guess it gives you some sense of ownership of, oh, maybe I won't get this battle pass because it's not for me. I don't really care about like Winston skin or whatever. So maybe that's it. But that's a good question. I don't know. Are they going to re-release old legendary skins into the part of the battle pass? And you're like, oh, I really wanted that Reinhardt legendary skin and it's on this battle pass. I don't know. And one thing, Halo Infinite, which has a lot of problems, but I think one thing they do really well is that you can buy battle passes and then you can complete them wherever. I hate how 99% of games battle passes are time gated because like no one knows like what's going on with your life, right? Like maybe you're super busy, maybe like I'm moving in 2 weeks. Like I travel like the last week. I haven't been able to play Overwatch as much as I would like, but I would love like, okay, I really like this battle pass. I'll buy it. I'll kind of leave it in my back pocket and then maybe like in a month's time I'll have way more time and I can work my way through that. So I hope they implement that at some point. I don't know if they will. But yeah, I think there's a lot of question marks so far in the battle pass and just skin acquisition and how that's good. Because you do get, when you complete the weekly challenges, you get the coins, but they're it's what, like 50 coins per challenge. And how much is a legendary skin? Like 2,000? I don't remember now.
Yeah.
It's 1,900.
Yeah,
you can buy like
minimum.
2,200 for $20.
Yeah.
So a legendary skin is $20.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough pill to swallow.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Halo Infinite Battle Pass system, that sounds good. They should implement that.
Intrigued to see what they do with holidays. I know we have in 3 days we have Halloween coming up. I'm curious to see if they'll resort back to loot boxes for the holiday events, because I know a lot of games will do a loot box type thing. Like I know around Christmas, Fortnite does like the 12-day present box stuff. So I'm curious if they'll continue to do like a loot box system specifically for their holiday events, or if they will be doing like sort of a mini battle pass or something like that.
Yeah, I've seen challenges like seasonal challenges. So for Fortnite, I think it was their 5-year anniversary. It was like go and open 5 like party boxes, and then you get like a little like candle pickaxe or whatever. I really like that system. It's still like you need to play it, but then like if I do these things, and it can change a little bit the way you play, right? Like, oh, in Christmas, I don't know, like play as May like 5 times. I would never fucking play as
Yeah.
Mei if I could choose. But then like you get that, right? Stuff like mini challenges. I do like that system for seasonals or special gifts.
Yeah.
Cool. So one thing that I've been wondering too, Overwatch 2, well, one, I think the nomenclature of Overwatch 2 has been a little bit confusing because to me, like it is more, they have changed the structure of the game, but I think when you look at it, it's almost impossible to notice the difference unless you're in different levels. One of the things that definitely piqued my interest because I really love playing those kinds of games is that Overwatch 2 will have a PvE system and PvE campaign or whatever. And I actually even read the on Twitter again, one of the Overwatch guys, he was saying that they're coming out with it might be a Halloween event, but it's I forget from Overwatch 1 there was those PvE events like Junkertron.
Junkenstein's Revenge.
Yes,
That's
that's
coming in on Tuesday. Yes.
and that was a PvE type thing, right? But there should be a
Yes.
full blown dedicated like PvE, if not campaign, a system. So question one, are you guys excited and looking forward to that? And two, do we have any idea when that's coming out or is that still kind of under wraps?
I've
One-
heard 2023 thrown around.
Yeah, from what I've seen,
Hopefully.
it's probably late October, late November, in
Yeah.
2023. I think
Wow.
that's probably our most, I wouldn't say like really sell point, but just an idea to have in mind.
So still a full year to go, pretty much looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
At least, yes.
I think they recently kind of advertised like some of the like different skills that characters are going to be getting in that one. Like I saw a video where Mei like turned into like an ice ball and like rolled like through a bunch of Omnics. So at least they're like starting to like kind of throw out the kind of content that'll be in it, but I really feel like it's going to be late next year, like if even, just cuz they've like been working on it for so long, and I think they're kind of just trying to perfect it, hopefully, because Overwatch 2 wasn't very perfect when it released, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the PvE I guess my question is, do you think it's kind of tacked on, or do you think it will be able to grow to be its own thing? Because obviously, Overwatch so far is a highly competitive shooter. That's its focus. That's what it's always been. So, do you guys think the PvE will have a life of its own, or is it something that will maybe be a flash in the pan? People will play it a little bit, and then it's gone.
I think it has a great potential to be its own thing, like a really separate kind of game. Not in the esports
Oh, for
matter
sure.
of things, but it can be quite big. Like there can be loads of missions, basically anything you can think of, and the time they're taking to make it is kind of telling us like, yeah, this is about to be big. We
Mhm.
want it to be big, but we don't know, right? Time will tell.
I feel like it will kind of be similar to the way that like Call of Duty functions, where you can play in multiplayer lobbies or play like a campaign story mode. That's kind of what I think they're doing with it.
Which is not great because I feel they spend a lot of money on the campaign mode. So they actually changed it. I've actually been playing it yesterday and it crashed 3 times on me. So that's fun. But they released the campaign a week early. And then they put unlockables for multiplayer because no one would play the campaign. Even like I didn't play the last few, but I played Modern Warfare 1 re-release. And the campaign, I heard great things, but like, nah, I'd rather just play multiplayer. Now they released it early so that people could actually play it, and they tied some rewards to it to do that. One thing about Overwatch, though, which I'm excited about PvE, because my understanding is that there's going to be some sort of campaign or missions. And Overwatch, to me, does such a tremendous job in creating the lore around it. Like, the character videos are badass. Like, a lot of them are emotional. All of them are, like, super polished, really fun. And like a competitive shooter where all these characters are beating the crap out of each other is not really like the best way to capture like the spirit of like, hey, we're Overwatch, we're fighting the Omnics. So I think PvE is a really cool way if they keep releasing like little new missions, like mini campaigns for them to talk about that. So that's one of the things that I'm excited for the PvE side of Overwatch.
Yeah, I was
Her-
actually gonna. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was actually gonna mention that Overwatch has so like such good like character building, and like the new interactions that they added in Overwatch 2 is really telling of how like much thought they've put into like the lore of each characters, even going as far as to like develop like relationships between like all of the characters that you wouldn't know have had like some sort of like interactions with each other. So I'm really hoping that when they release the PvE, they kind of expand on that, because the characters are like completely amazing, and it's literally like the game that got me into like wanting to do character design and everything. So yeah, I really hope they act on that potential.
That's awesome.
I think.
No,
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I think a lot of people don't realize how fleshed out the lore is for Overwatch. And I grabbed the one I had nearest to me, but they have an entire comic series.
I love the props.
And-
Keep them coming.
And people like Call of Duty doesn't have a comic book series that's actively being released. But I think
which
like
is better, yeah.
but I think like in terms of lore and background, people think that they're pulling something out of nothing for PvE, when the reality is that they have been releasing comics with like full lore and background for years. So it's
Even-
just going to elaborate on that.
Yeah, even some of the skins are from the comics. Like the casual Hanzo skin is from
The,
like the Christmas one that they had.
Yeah, Reaper
The,
also has a masquerade one.
Yeah.
The event that they had, I think it was about a year ago with Ash, that was completely based upon an entire like
Yeah.
a comic
Oh, wow.
novella.
Yeah, I mean, to Catula's point, and we were just talking about Call of Duty, and the Call of Duty like stands are gonna hate me for it, but like it's a great game. I love playing Call of Duty, but the characters, it's like dude bros and dude chicks shooting each other.
Yeah,
And it's like
literally.
dude bro with a ghost mask and dude chick with like a helmet, right? Like it does, like you could swap them and that's it. Like Overwatch's big differentiator, I think, is that and people really connect with their characters, right? Like people love, like, hey, like I'm this main and I see myself a lot in their personalities and things like that. And that's awesome. And I see people wearing gear like on the streets, like with their favorite characters or whatever. And I think that's great. But again, I think like competitive shooter, the polish of the gameplay is phenomenal. I just don't think that necessarily that's the best way to capitalize on the lore and the relationships of the characters. So I think in my perspective, PvE is the best way to do that. So that's what I'm the most hyped about for that.
I do think PvE has a lot of potential, but also see that it also depends on how replayable it can be. If it's, for example, like a campaign from any of the COD games, you can maybe do one sitting or maybe even play it once or twice, but after that, it's kind of the same. You know already where the enemy is going to be, you know what you need to do. So it gets kind of stale at some point. So with the way that you can change abilities, I do hope that adds some sort of replayability and it changes some of the game aspects.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you mentioned about was the quality of the cinematics that they pulled. And I do hope that someday maybe Netflix will release some sort of Overwatch
Yes.
series like LOL,
Yes,
as
please.
with Arcane or the new Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I do think with how extensive the lore is, I think there's a lot of opportunity.
Absolutely.
In terms of like replayability, from what I've seen, they're planning to have several different options as to how a mission can go, depending on how it evolves, like what you do in the opening stage and how you continue after that. And there's supposed to be like character perk trees
I did
where
see
you
that.
unlock certain abilities, level them up, and like get yourself some new stuff.
Yeah, and I think the good thing about this is that Overwatch can do both, right? Even if it's a season, like, hey, new mission release, everyone jumps on, completes the mission, does the various like endings or whatever, then they're like, okay, I'm gonna go back to playing competitive Overwatch, and that's good because it's a good game. And then they release more missions like a couple months down the line. I think ultimately the fact that it's free to play, it's now a game as a service, right? As a Destiny, as a Fortnite, as whatever. So hopefully they keep releasing new content to always keep it fresh. And one of the other easy answers remasters with Junkenstein's Revenge and all that stuff, you can always release like a polished horde mode because that's always fun. That's super replayable. It's skill based, and you can always like jump in with friends. I remember like when Gears of War first came out with horde mode, played the shit out of that, and it was a lot of fun. And it's still a lot of fun for games that do that. So I think Overwatch can kind of hedge its bets on both sides. I just hope that they don't go with their side, okay, like, oh, we're going to do PvE, and then they release a mission and it's cool, but then it like they look at the numbers and PvP is like 1 million people playing and PvE is like 50,000 people playing. They're like, all right, screw this, like we're scrapping PvE. I think that would be a damn shame, but I've seen companies do worse than that, so. Cool, all right, so last question to wrap up our Overwatch section. This comes from Tech Metal, actually. What changes would you like to see going forward for Overwatch? That could be, you can take it in any direction. What do you want to see different as Overwatch 2 progresses?
I would love to see a non-healer support character. I know it's controversial, but I would love to see a support character who's maybe their kit is all based around giving the teammates movement or giving the teammates buffs. Like, I think that's a really fun character to play in a lot of other types of FPS games, like one that their entire kit is focused around buffing their teammates as opposed to just healing them constantly and being a heal bot. And I think that is something that would be a really fun addition to Overwatch 2, especially given how much the gameplay has changed, even just shifting it to a 5v5 instead of a 6v6.
But wait, I see that all the time. Supports that don't heal. Every time I have a Moira, she just goes full DPS and says fuck it to healing. So no, but I agree, especially since there's 2 support characters. One could be the main healer and the other one could be the buffer person, right? That's
I think they have potential with something similar to Brigitte's kit. Like, even if there was something that could maybe, as you charge your damage, it gives buffs to the damage of the rest of your team. Like, I think that would be interesting, and it would add like a sense of like, okay, we need to get the supports like from the enemy team.
I just learned I was always calling her Brigitte, so makes sense that given where she's from, it's actually Brigitte. So good. I learned something today right there.
I think that the arcade mode in Overwatch needs to change like drastically because I always have so many like challenges in the Battle Pass to play the like arcade games or like win 7 arcade games or whatever, but they're always like the worst game modes like ever, and they took out like mystery heroes from arcade to make it like its own thing, which is also like I wish they would have left that in arcade because that was the best arcade mode in my opinion and a lot of other people's opinion. But I think if they added like some sort of PvE aspect in like as an arcade mode, not anything like huge, but something along the lines of like Junkenstein's Revenge, I think that would be like a really like nice addition to Overwatch 2 because then it kind of gives like people like more of a taste of the PvE mode while also making people want to actually play arcade mode in the game. So yeah.
I gotta admit, I've never touched arcade. I always have the challenges. I'm like, I'm not gonna play arcade because none of those like modes actually like appealed to me. It was just whatever. So I'm right there with you.
I think it would be a lot more.
I haven't touched arcade since the beginning of Overwatch 2. Just because.
I don't think I've touched it once in Overwatch 2. I played like a 3v3 elimination, I think, and that was it.
Once, and you said no.
Once.
No, this ain't it.
This is horrible.
Why did I do this? Fun if most of the arcade go modes were not just a different amount of people doing V versus elimination. Like, I would like a little bit of diversity instead of just, oh, you can play 5v5 elimination, you can play 1v1 elimination, or you can play 3v3 elimination. Have fun!
You don't like elimination? Okay, here's Total Mayo.
Oh, great. A 40-minute game where nothing's happening and I still lose.
And I have 300k damage and healing as Brig.
Even if they just would bring in, like, maybe in the arcade modes they would do, like, I don't know, old school Overwatch maps that people don't like, or something like Paris, or something like that. Like, that would even be more interesting than just another elimination game with a different amount of people involved.
All right, Thunder.
One of the main things that's very difficult to implement, especially now as the game is very new, is how to balance tanks. Since there are only one of them, they have to make it somewhat impactful, but at the same time not overdo it.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's, especially so early, it's very difficult to find the right balance. So I do hope that as time moves forward and new tanks are being introduced, I hope that they find the correct balance on how to make a certain character, so it's not too overwhelming.
That's a good one. Is there,
Yeah.
as in the current meta in terms of tanks, like or it doesn't even have to be tanks. Are there characters that are considered like overpowered? I know they pulled Torbjorn and Bastion for a little while. Was it because they
Well,
were
that's
broken?
because of bugs, right?
It was a
They're
bug.
No,
not-
because
So
they're OP. it's bugs.
Bastion's bug
Oh.
was really fun. So Bastion's new ult, which is like I don't remember what it was
It's a
called.
fire
Fire
strike.
Artillery.
Yeah, artillery. Basically, it was just letting you put down infinite artillery, so you could just carpet bomb the enemy team.
Nice. Sounds pretty OP.
It was pretty
Or
fun.
it could be. It was supposed to be capped at like 3, 4.
Yeah, it's 3.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you
people-
couldn't
yeah.
wipe an enemy team, but maybe pick that Anna who's sitting behind the entire team the entire game.
I know that they're getting ready to. Don't know if the patch has come out yet to nerf D.Va, but I do think like D.Va's defense matrix is too much right now, in my opinion. Like I love it when it's on my team, but I think it's like awful if you're playing against it, especially with the lack of shields.
If I'm not wrong, they also increased the duration from Overwatch 1 to Overwatch 2, so that's
They
I
did.
think something that they should keep in mind as well.
Yeah, but that's something you need to have in the game to keep D.Va valid, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that they increased both the cooldown, or they decreased the cooldown and increased the time up. And I think they could have done with just an increase of the time up. Because I feel like enemy D.Vas are just holding down defense matrix as often as they fucking can.
That's fair.
And not
I-
necessarily utilizing it.
So I think that, like personally, I think D.Va's defense matrix is fine. I think what needs to be nerfed is Zarya's bubbles, because
Love
Oh
them.
yeah.
you
Love
you
them.
shoot at a Zarya. She has bubble, right? You like stop shooting at her because she has bubble, and you don't want to give her charge. After that, you stop. Like once the bubble goes down, you shoot at her again. She bubbles herself again, and it just keeps happening. And then
And
the
in
moment,
the meantime, when she gets damaged, she gets healed up when she has bubble up.
yep, exactly.
So
I-
she's
and it's like,
instantly like an 800 HP untouchable tank
yes,
who, at the same time, blasts you with how much is it? How much
Enough.
is it? 120
It's
per
enough.
second.
yes.
The beam,
I
and
think
like
so.
80. I don't even know what the stats.
I love
are
it.
for.
Absolutely love it.
I don't. I hate it.
I feel like
despise
they could
Zarya
have done
players.
better with keeping the like 2 separate cooldowns for a self bubble and a
Yes.
like friendly bubble, and they could
Yeah.
have just like bumped the cooldown down a little bit for the friendly bubble, and that
I mean,
would
they
have had
did-
the
they did
impact they
hope.
intended.
They did hope that Zarya players would use it as, hey, I've got 2 supports who need a bubble. I'm gonna like bubble them both. But they don't. They just run into
Yeah.
the enemy team,
I mean,
bubble themselves twice.
I don't know why they expected anything different than like when they tested an experimental when Anas could now nano themselves. Like, I don't know why they expected it to be any different than then when people were just like, I'm not going to nano anyone but myself.
Obviously, I don't trust you guys.
Fantastic. Well, we're gonna wrap up our Overwatch segment here. Any final thoughts, comments about Overwatch 2 overall? Or
Buff Orisa.
No.
so
No, Arisa
I feel
was
there are
broken
personal
in the
reasons for
beta.
that.
No, Buff Orisa.
I would like
will
them to
die in
bring
Visnal.
the old immersive super jump back.
Yes, please. Bring
Please.
older Mercy movement back.
I was so
I hate
confused.
it.
I was playing a lot of support at first because I was just doing kind of all queues till you get the challenges, and I love playing Mercy in Overwatch 1. And then I was just so confused with her kit because I was used to when her ult was it like rezzed everybody, and now like she could res on the fly, and then her ult she was like flying. I'm like, what the like it was a team battle, everyone was dead. Like I pressed ult, I'm suddenly flying. I didn't know what was happening, so that was fun. I remember we have a couple questions from Banterific around Overwatch. I'll have to be very selective about these ones, but thank you for sending them in, Banter.
They're not
A
that
pillar
bad.
in the Overwatch community. Ben.
Pillar,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. That goes
They're
without
not
saying.
that bad. Come on. I think you can ask them all.
Do you think so? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, all of
yeah.
them.
All of
Unfiltered.
them, unfiltered. I'll start with this one. If who would you cosplay as in Overwatch?
One of us here has cosplayed an Overwatch
Oh.
character before.
Let's.
One of us
It's
has.
not I.
It's not me.
I have
Snack, have
cosplayed
you
Widowmaker.
cosplayed?
Don't look at me either.
I have cosplayed Widowmaker before, and I will do it again. And that's my
That
opinion.
seems like a difficult cosplay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so that's the best. Well, you've done it, so I think that. Would you cosplay as any other Overwatch characters?
I don't know. Maybe like Moira's like Banshee skin, because I really like that skin, and it's a really cool design. So yeah.
How long did it take you to prep the Widowmaker cosplay?
I actually had to paint like most of my like skin
That's what I was
like-
wondering.
a bluish purple. So like 3 or 4 hours. It
Wow.
was pretty painful. I think I'd go with like a different skin or something of hers if I wanted to do it again.
What did you do it for an event? Like what was the occasion?
It was I don't remember exactly what con it was, but it was a convention in Orlando,
That's awesome.
I think. Yeah.
That's very
I think it was
cool.
Comic-Con.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah.
was.
Okay, that's tremendous. Anyone? What would the rest of the crew cosplay as?
The Brigida Vampire Slayer skin.
I don't know. I remember the Brigida skins are all very cool, but I don't remember
Yeah.
that one specifically.
I think it'd be a great Halloween costume. But also, I do have to say, I would cosplay Mercy and Moira. Any given female support character, I would cosplay. I think is
I'd
my
really like to
answer.
cosplay like Junker Queen, but I need to get the accent and the abs going. Those are the only two things holding me back. And she's probably like 15 centimeters taller than me as well.
Yeah, she's huge.
Like, how tall is she?
She's a
like-
queen. I know that much.
She
That's
do be
true.
a queen.
That's kind of me. I want to every day when I go to the gym, I'm just trying to cosplay as Zarya and get to her deadlifting skills. You know.
Yeah.
Oh,
My-
for sure.
My favorite voice line is the one, "I bench more than you." So every time you begin,
love that
I do
one.
the emote and then just keep spamming, "I bench more than you." How about you, Thunder?
I feel like I'd either cosplay Junkrat or Bob.
Or you
I
could,
think it'd be interesting.
Yes.
That would be so good.
Bob would be great, but you'd look insanely good as a Junkrat.
I don't know how to take it.
I was gonna say, is that
It's a compliment. You've got a sharp jaw.
good save? Good save.
You
You
Juan.
look like a
Yeah,
feral
good.
animal.
No, that's not what I meant. No. Don't take this the wrong way. He's a very handsome man.
I will say
Thank you.
I'm very impressed. I've been to a couple of cons where there's been a Reinhardt cosplayer, and I am incredibly
Cool.
impressed by them. I went to MegaCon this year, and there was actually an entire group of like doing like the original Overwatch characters. So they had like
Oh, shit.
Roadhog, Cassidy, Soldier 76, and they also had a Reinhardt amongst them. And it was the most impressive cosplay I think I've ever seen. He even had the hammer.
I've
That's so
seen. I don't know if prosthetics are the word, but they have to create like pretty much like a mechanical armor, right, to like move like the huge
Mhm.
limbs. They do like all of those are like I've seen like Spartan from Halo like that. I've seen like Space Marines. Those are always. I've seen Iron Man be done like that. Those are all super impressive.
Yeah, they usually use EVA foam for that, which I think is even cooler because they're using basically like a gym mat and turning it into something that looks like mechanical.
Yeah, that is badass. That reminded me. This conversation reminded me. I am like 90% sure our beloved Pixie. She has cosplayed. She sent it like way back when, like in IRL. She had a picture of her and friends cosplaying as Overwatch characters for a con. I don't remember exactly who she was cosplaying as, But maybe Pixie, if you're listening to this, you can drop that picture again, because I remember it was Pixie does a lot of cosplaying actually, and she's really good at it. So it'd be awesome to see that too. Alrighty, let's see. Next question here from Banterific, which, okay, I like this one. It doesn't have to be too long. Thoughts on Hanzo? Negative thoughts only.
Catula can't answer.
I want Scatter Arrow back.
What'd you say,
Give me
Mlog?
back Scatter Arrow.
Oh, I do
The
remember that one.
original,
Major
I want to
city.
shoot it in a room and like kill 3 supports. Yes.
My Overwatch is glitched, and the Dark Wolf remix skin has just gone from my account. I would
Wow.
like that back, please.
Blizzard, I know you guys listen to my
I would like
podcast,
that
so
back, please.
fix that.
I have no negative thoughts about Hanzo. He's perfect, and I love him, and he's my favorite Overwatch character.
All
I
right.
like
That is
Moira.
all because of the sushi eating emote.
Yeah.
Oh, does he
I
have
like
one? I didn't know that.
It's
does.
Battle Pass exclusive.
It's
Oh,
beautiful.
nice. I do love
It is
sushi,
beautiful.
so maybe
It's
maybe I'll give
right
Hanzo a
up
shot,
on
because
the
I just hate
pedestal
Hanzo.
With like Orisa, dog, puppy,
Yeah,
Mm.
emote. Those are
Or
the
the
two good
cat
emotes.
emote.
yeah, Brigida's
Oh
cat
yes,
emote.
that's all we need. Like
Yeah.
to fix Overwatch.
I cannot wait for Kiliko to have a fox emote. Waiting for it. I know
Oh.
it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah,
I
for
think It's
sure,
only a matter of time.
Next battle pass.
for sure.
Please.
I can sense it.
All right, next question. To keep it on it can't be any one of us. Obviously, it's not me because I suck at Overwatch. But who is the best tank, support, and DPS in Winter?
Ooh.
Kit Kat's a pretty
Okay.
good support.
I was
Okay.
about to
Is a
say,
great
Kit
support.
Kat-
That's a pretty
Kit
good
Kat-
I'll
support.
go
That-
with support.
That seems
support,
unanimous.
yeah.
Okay, Kit Kat, congratulations. You're the best support in Winter. You deserve a medal. Maybe we can put a little
Yay.
medal on her username. All right, we got
For-
support. That was quick. How
Do I
about
need to ping them
I
in
think
a
she's
chat
masters
congrats?
level. So
She is
She
Masters
is.
right
Yeah.
now.
She did hit.
I know she
Masters.
does competitive esports.
Oh wow, okay. Kit Kat. You were talking about Kit Kat, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Kit
Kit Kat
Kat.
does competitive esports.
Okay.
I think for DPS, I think my number one guess or pick would have to be Cryptical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen clips. I've seen clips from Cryptical. He's been in Winter for a very long time. Every fucking FPS he plays, he's just a beast. Like, I've never played with him because I don't usually play that many. I'm getting back into FPSs, but like his clips are always insane. They're cryptical as to how good he is. But so we're in agreement. Cryptical is the best DPS, or do we have other contenders?
So I've never played with him, like
he
ever.
doesn't really show up to
So,
events. I
my-
can't blame him, but
My choice would be Perilous Wind, just
Yeah.
because he's like a ridiculously good Ashe, like ridiculously.
Yeah.
And he's a good Echo, and just like I always see him like just constantly in the kill feed. So
I think
I play with him all the time.
Flunx's Pharah also is very good. Cat's Pharah is also great, but we were told we can't say people.
We can't. We can't.
So
Illegal.
Flunx.
Yeah, I played with
I
Perilous
would
Wind a
also
few
like to
times, and he's
mention
badass.
Aiden as Widow.
Okay.
Aiden's Widow is
I don't
correct.
think I
Absolutely.
don't think I've played with Aiden that much. I know I have a little bit.
His Widow is really
We
good.
need to have a Widow 1v1.
Oh,
That's right. There can only
You
be
won't
one.
even see him. He's that bad. He's that
Yeah.
good. Sorry.
he's that bad.
That bad.
Freudian slip.
All right. So for DPS, we have Cryptical, Perilous Wind, and Aiden. That's a pretty good list.
And Flunks.
And
Let's
Flunks.
And Flunks.
get
And Flunks.
Flunks on
But
that as
Flunks
well.
is kind of leadership, so I'm not counting him. Sorry.
He's a-
Yeah, he
Sorry,
doesn't
Flunks.
matter.
He's a good
No.
Pharah though.
Yeah.
You said it, Malak, not me. No, I'm kidding. We love you too.
I
Flunks.
did, and I'll say it again.
All right. So who are missing? We're missing Tank.
We're
Yeah.
missing tank. That's a funny one
That's a
because we
hard
don't
one.
have a whole lot of tank players.
No.
Yeah.
If I had to go with one, Term is a decent Reinhard. Guns
I
is
know-
a very decent Hog player.
I like
I
that we're
know-
using the term decent.
I know Atomic.
Yeah.
Atomic is pretty good.
Atomic
Cat as
Crimes.
well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Sorry.
Yeah, but he's leadership, so he doesn't matter.
Oh, sorry.
it can be
Thrown to the
it can be
curb.
non-Overwatch leadership.
I don't. There's like
No,
Yeah,
Atomic
we
is
don't have
Overwatch
any.
leadership.
Oh, is he?
There's,
Oh,
like-
Yeah.
my bad. My
there's,
bad,
like,
Atomic.
3 people in here currently that like play tank a lot, and then there's like maybe 3 other people in the entirety of the Overwatch like branch that play tank because
I would
a lot
like
of-
to
I'm
mention
awful at
my
tank, and
Orisa gameplay as a valid
Okay, but you're not-
participant.
You're not a flexible tank. I think that's the same issue
Damn.
I have
I
with guns. Is guns can
That's
only
true.
play Roadhog.
No, I am I'm a really flexible tank. I just refuse to play anything other than Orisa because it's not
So
fun
you're not
for
a
me.
flexible person.
We'll take
I
That's
also-
basically what
I'm
it
not a
is.
flexible person. I do like playing Hog, and I feel like I do get picks on Hog enough to, validate my gameplay. But
Well,
this
don't worry,
isn't about
guys.
Me, this
I-
is about good players.
Yeah.
I main tank, so don't worry. I can step in and be the best tank in
Yeah,
winter.
it's
so
Tommy.
it's definitely
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah, the Zarya mummy.
Yeah. I mean, to be frank, when I play Zarya, I feel like I'm just playing DPS carry and not tank. I'm
Course you
just,
are. Yeah.
but that's
But
probably
what
me
a
a
good
problem.
tank does.
Yeah, the best
Well,
defense is
yeah.
offense, right,
It's
or
just the
something like
base
that. I've
defense,
heard
yeah.
that somewhere before, so I think that tracks.
It's the same thing with healers or supports. Is if the ult team is dead, there's no need for healing.
That's
Yeah.
true. I see
Yeah.
no flaws
So
in that
true.
argument. That's why every
Yeah,
time we
like,
support now, I just go
damage
Moira
equals
and
Moira
Sundry.
gameplay.
Exactly.
More Zen.
No, Tori, don't.
You flank the enemy
No.
team,
No,
and then
No.
you slowly pick them off one by one.
no.
And then your whole team dies, and
And
then
then
you
your
die.
entire team
and
Yes. If everyone's dead, there's no need for healing.
And then it's a
That is
draw.
true.
Exactly.
then, yeah.
That
If
is
your team
true.
is dead, there's nobody to heal. You don't need to heal.
Fantastic. Oh, I actually really enjoyed this ranking stuff. I should do that for more games. That was fun. But guys, I'm sorry to say, but we're reaching our hour-long mark, which means unfortunately we're coming to the end of our very own Overwatch episode.
Can we finish Banter's question?
Definitely not,
There's
actually.
more. There's more.
Unless you want to take off your shirt, Locke. You're well. Actually, you're not welcome to do. I feel like I'm gonna get flagged on YouTube if I do
Now
that.
wants to. He wants to.
That's why he
100%.
keeps bringing it back up.
Yeah, you bring that up a
said,
lot.
Like,
It's like maybe if
I
I
can
say it
pop
enough.
a titty in this. Like, it's pretty
He wants
easy.
to so bad.
Yeah,
It's
we're
not even
gonna
funny.
be slapped with a
I'll do it
R
on
rating for
private
this
chat, that's
episode, and
Gonna get demonetized.
yeah, you can't do that. You know, I can't
Wait,
hurt my like dozens
Are
of
we
views.
monetized? Tommy, are we
We're gonna get
monetized?
slapped by Susan.
Yeah, the only monetization I get is the time I spend recording these. So
Alright,
the answer is
fair
no.
enough.
Okay, so last thing to say, what do we have going on for the Overwatch community in winter coming up? Any events, anything you guys are organizing or thinking about organizing? Like shout outs to the community that you want them to know about.
When does this
Uh,
get posted?
This gets posted every other Thursday, so this is going to be actually next Thursday, which, if I
Right.
give you a specific date, is October the
Mhm.
27th, right before spoopy time.
So, in terms of stuff for the community, long term, we have streams, pre-stacked streams every Sunday. People can reach out to me if they want to be guests on that stream, but we are pretty filled up like a month in advance.
Wow.
Other than that, we are looking to host the tournament. We're just discussing the terms of the tournament because we want it as balanced as possible, and it's not really easy because there's a huge gap. We've talked
Yeah.
about Cryptical. He's creating a big gap for us.
And Kit Kat.
And KitKat. KitKat actually DM'd me after today's event, and she was like, "Hey, do you want me to like not play support next time we play 5v5?" And then she sent a few screenshots, and the screenshots literally just read victory, 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 and then
It's-
5 more,
we
and
have
then
had-
5 more.
A couple incidents of people getting upset when there are experienced pharmacy duos.
Oh my
Um,
god.
That was a
yes.
big issue. At today's event, I just straight up set Pharah's damage to 50%. They didn't notice, but they switched.
Wow.
They switched pretty soon.
That's modern problems require modern solutions. I like it.
Yeah,
For real.
sometimes when Flunks is on Pharah on custom games, I just fuck him over that bad in settings. Like, hey, what's your damage? Oh, it's 1. Oh, that's so sad. How did that happen? You take what? You take 300 damage from a single Ana shot? Damn, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
That is.
In terms of streams that aren't pre-stacked and are open, I stream my Sunday event. It's on the Sunday afternoon. It's called Swinton Swan Days. And I stream it on my personal Twitch, which is affiliated with WinterClan. And that anyone who's in the VC with me will just be in that stream. So
Awesome.
no need to get in on the list if you don't want to.
There you go. Just hop on and get right to it.
Wow, you're trying to one up on me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just
okay.
way more inclusive, Locke. You know,
But you know,
Strawberries is
I'm
being fully
It
streaming
is,
on
it
the
is.
WinterClan Twitch, so but you know.
Well, guys, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. And like I said, I'll be expecting every one of you in future episodes too. You don't have to come all together, but if you want to, hey, why not? Maybe we can check in once PV is out or if other fun stuff happens. This was a lot of fun. And that's it for our episode 4. Thanks a lot, everybody, and bye-bye.
Thanks
One
for having us.
last
Can we say
question,
Happy
one last
Halloween?
question.
Yeah,
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy
Happy
Halloween.
Halloween.
One last question. Is everybody here trying to get on Overwatch now?
Yeah. Actually.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. Okay.
I got to take my dog
Snake?
out to
Snake?
poop and pee, so I will
Snake,
not be
let's go,
joining on
Tommy.
Overwatch.
Let's go.
Give him
Tommy?
a head pet
Tommy?
for me.
I will.
Tommy,
I will.
do it.
Oh, I forgot. Actually, before we wrap up, I didn't introduce our 6th and 7th members, which were the kitties on Strawberry and Catulus. Do you guys want to give a quick
yeah.
introduction on them?
She's right here, so let me go grab her.
While they got their cats, Tommy, how was Alaska?
It was great.
I saw some pics. It was beautiful.
It's on IRL. If anyone wants to check it out, it's
Yeah, I
very
saw the
remote,
pics.
very different, but it was awesome.
Most people who are ever in a voice chat with me will have heard either her or me yelling at her.
Yeah.
Her name is Yui, and she's a menace and likes to get on my desk, specifically while I'm playing Overwatch.
Fantastic.
This is Amelia. She really doesn't want to be held right now, but she's named after the Bloodborne boss, Vicar Amelia, and she acts like that evil as well.
I forgot to say, for any anime fans, my cat is named after Yui Akari, which is Shinji's mom in Neo Genesis Evangelion.
Wow, that's one of the few mangas and animes that I read back in the day, so that's awesome.
Yep. Yui Akari in the flesh.
There you go. Well, critters are always welcome. My poodle is somewhere in the corner. He saw me dress up and he was over this immediately. So who knows? Keep watching our episodes to see Rio make a surprise appearance. But with all that, we'll wrap up our episode this time. Thanks a lot, everybody. Happy Halloween. Have a great spooky
Halloween.
time, everyone.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
And I'll talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.
One,